Okay, hi. I'm just going into the next part of what I feel that I need to say, okay, to share the information that I learned. But anyway, there's a hunt for the origin of AIDS, and the real origin of AIDS is in the minds of social Darwinists. I was listening to a radio show, and a letter was written, it was read over the airwaves, that had been written from Dr. Mengele to Adolf Hitler. And he said to him, I am making something for you, my Führer. You know, I am making something for you that you're not going to believe it. So everybody thought Dr. Mengele was crazy at Auschwitz because he kept mixing blood and solvents, and he's slicing up people alive because their cells are fresh. So he's not thinking, I'm hurting these people. He's thinking, I'm going to create the perfect utopia. So I have to eradicate all of the inferior races. So again, I'm going to go back to AIDS. It's the perfect weapon. It's very, very efficient. I don't advocate it. I personally think it's terrible. No offense, doctor. Okay, AIDS. So anyway, you give it to the father, gives it to the mother, gives it to the child. The lineage is done. Doesn't harm a building, doesn't harm anything. It's a designer disease. Murder by molecule, race by race. It's this Nazi agenda. It's right in our face. Okay, now, back to, this is the Colston Foundation, and I was just going to draw a link between how he recreates Auschwitz, where he goes in laboratories. Okay, so now this is Auschwitz, okay, and then this is when he was supposedly dead in his last alias. He's been dying, by the way. He's been dead since 1945 in many aliases. And, of course, Dr. Mengele is the first alias he was dead under, I don't know, 1945. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still alive. Okay, anyway, it says, a visit to the White Sands Research Center, simply named the Colston Foundation, was a sobering look at the reality of prison camps called Primate Research Center, in the same vernacular that cloaked Joseph Mengele's curiosity as science by Nazi propagandists. Today, the propagandists dress the torture occurring in primate labs as research. So if you look carefully at Auschwitz, and it's very hard to get a good picture when it comes to Dr. Mengele, but he recreated Auschwitz. Okay, now, this is the inside barracks of Auschwitz, and then this is the inside of the Colston Foundation. So it's just upgraded, and the reason that that wood was used in Auschwitz and steel is used here is because the USDA mandates that when you do research with animals, you have to use steel. You can't use wood. Okay, so this is the Colston Foundation again. This is the chimpanzees in research from the National Anti-Vivisection Society. Okay, this is what it looks like. They took pictures, they went underground, and then this is what Auschwitz looked like. Okay, now this, Dr. Mengele took pictures. This is his work on twins. Okay, and the reason for twinning is because of cloning. Now, there's also a lot of talk about how Dr. Mengele injected the young children at Auschwitz in their eyes. Now, the same experiments are going on today. Here's a monkey who's being injected with the substance in his eyes. Okay? Now, this is another monkey, and these are the kind of experiments that Dr. Mengele continues to do. Okay? Now, this was Auschwitz, and this was a chimpanzee that was given syphilis without any treatment, and you could see he's so hurting, he's starving, just like they're starving, okay, because he could no longer use them, and he couldn't use prisoners, so he had to go to monkeys and chimpanzees. Chimpanzees are great apes, and monkeys are in a different genre. Anyway, so then this is what he does to the monkeys. Now, if I could just go back one, okay, to this. This is the children at Auschwitz. Look how thin they are, okay? And he has them, he took pictures because he was documenting his work, because if he created AIDS, and I'm almost 100% sure he did, just think of the ramifications for man's life. He has affected every single human being on this planet. Okay, so here's what this looks like. Now, here's what they look like. Can you see the similarity? I can. Okay. Now, research lab pays $4,500 fine for boiling monkey alive. he did that. What he used to do with the twins, he would shoot them first, and then he would boil them alive. So he didn't actually boil them alive. So this states that either he's still alive, or it's very possible, I know it's going to sound outrageous, he may have even cloned himself. He is so far ahead of what we think. That's why the boys from Brazil, they're like the Odessa, you know, they're like surround him. And I know because they filmed me and followed me everywhere. Why would they be interested in me? So that's why I knew that I had hooked into something very important. Okay, so now, all right, this is vivisection. This is what they do. He does it, other scientists do it, but okay, look at how these animals are suffering, just like the people at Auschwitz. Vivisection is slicing up this animal alive, but first using diseases and toxic substances, most probably to create more disease. Then he owns the pharmaceutical companies that has the cure for the disease. Okay, now this was, I don't know if you can see this, on August 6th in Reuters and the AP. The U.S. Air Force on Thursday retired its chimpanzees rather, to the Colson Foundation in Amargao, New Mexico. So now, Dr. Goodall had gotten in his face. And again, she does her work in Tanzania and Nairobi, Kenya. So now, within 24, she was shocked. She had gone to Congress. She went everywhere. She got in his face, and she was going to show him. But you know what? He was going to show her. So now, what happens a day later? The embassies are bombed in Tanzania and Nairobi, Kenya. Why would anyone, like everyone thinks bin Laden did it, why would he be interested in killing black people? I believe 8 Americans were killed, but everyone else was black. And I remember the first reports, it was a very, very high-tech explosion, okay? Because he was angry. That's why I say, hi, doctor. You don't want to get him angry, or his friends, or his surrogates, or offspring, because they've got a lot of power, and everyone thinks they're dead. And even if their sons are alive, they're not gone. Okay, now, this is, he paid for this notice, his paid notice, New York Times, paid notice, deaths, Dr. Frederick Colston. Well, let me just read you this line carefully. Colston, Dr. Frederick, 89, of Amargao, New Mexico, died Monday, December 15, 2003, in Amargao. Dr. Colston was born December 4th, 1914, in New York City, to Samuel and Celia Goldstein. Now, okay, if he's born Goldstein and he's not adopted, how does his name change to Colston? It's because there's a rhyme and a reason to the way his mind thinks. And he goes like this. His first alias was Ullman, so it became Fritz. Ullman, then Holman, then Ullman, then Goldman, then Goldman to Goldstein, Goldstein to Colston. And Dr. Jan Morkowski told me that his name wasn't Colston because everyone knew him as Goldstein. Okay, now, this is him again. So, okay, so I hope that that I've been able to accomplish this. One more video I need to do, and you know, I'm so sorry for anyone that's suffering, you know what I mean? And you know, I'm not a social Darwinist, but you know, I did study them. Okay, thank you.